Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is save this example image to be able to try out the spot healing brush in Photoshop. So if I just right click on the image, then I can click Save Image As. Then I'm going to just save it to my desktop, so I'll go ahead and hit Save. And then it is going to pull up on my desktop. There it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and drag it into Photoshop. I can also right click and do open with and choose Photoshop, or I can go to File, Open in Photoshop, whatever way I want to do it. So one of the first things I'm going to do is just clean up my Photoshop window a little bit so that I only have the things that I need for this assignment. So I just want these two tabs, layers in history. So anything that isn't layers in history, I'm going to get rid of. The way I can do that is I just click on the tab like a Google or Safari tab, and I can drag it down, and then I can hit X and it will go away. So when I drag it down into its own little window, I can hit X. I've got a couple more here. Get rid of. You can also always put them into that area, but just to simplify things, I'll get rid of it. If you ever accidentally delete something that you didn't mean to, like if I would have accidentally gotten rid of history, I can just click on window up at the top and then click on history and it will pull back up, and then I can put it back into this little area over here. So just to kind of simplify your Photoshop window. Alright, so before I do anything, I always like to edit on a new layer, a duplicate layer. That way I can easily undo anything I've done if I don't like it, and it's kind of easier to see my edits that I've done. So to make a duplicate layer, I will hit Command J on the keyboard. You'll see that just gave me a new layer that is the exact same as the layer I already had, and you can see in that little preview that it's the same. So I'm going to be working on this duplicate layer rather than the background. Alright, so the tool I am using is the Spot Healing Brush. It is this one over here in the toolbox that looks like a little band-aid with a little like dotted circle behind it. So what the spot healing brush will do is it'll get rid of little imperfections. So if I look closely by zooming in, I can either put two fingers on the trackpad and pinch zoom like you would on a phone, or you can hit Command plus or minus and that will zoom in and out for you. But you'll notice I have these little white specks that are little dust specks on my print that I didn't want. I also have some scratches that I don't want and some weird watermarks. So the spot healing brush is going to easily get rid of all those little marks for me. So now I have the spot healing brush, I can just click and it magically gets rid of all those spots. There's one of these longer scratches, I can click and drag. You can see there that sometimes when you click and drag too much, it will kind of look funky. So in general, it's better to do more clicks than bigger click and drags, just because it can do a better job. And also if you do long click and drags, a lot of times you will slow down your computer and it'll freeze. And so I'm just going to click a bunch. Sometimes it does that where it didn't get rid of it like I wanted it to. So I'll make my brush smaller. The way I'm making my brush bigger or smaller is the bracket keys, which are just to the right of the letter P on the keyboard. So you can play around with different sizes. So I'm going to keep going around, getting rid of all the water spots I want, gone, all the little specks, scratches. So I can spend quite a bit of time going through this image and getting rid of all the tiny little imperfections that occurred when I scanned it in. So then if I zoom out, we can see, so I haven't even touched this side of the image. I would keep going and get rid of all this stuff. But I can poke this layer in the eyeball to turn on and off. You can see all those imperfections that I've gotten rid of. So that is why we use the spot healing brush. So once I have everything out of the image that I want, I'm going to click on File, Save As, since I added a layer, it defaults to wanting to save it as a Photoshop format, which means that it's going to save those two layers separately for me. I want this to be a JPEG though to be able to submit to the assignment. So I will click on format and I will choose JPEG. And then I'm also going to just rename this so that I know that it's mine and that this is the one that I edited, not the original version. And then I'll just hit save. I will drag this to the far right so that I get the best saved quality. And then it just saved so that now I can submit it to the Canvas assignment.